So 25, the disciples went and woke him, saying, Lord, save us, we're going to drown. 26, he replied, you of little faith, why are you so afraid? Then he got up and rebuked the winds and the waves, and it was completely calm. The men were amazed and asked, what kind of man is this? Even the winds and the waves obey him. Now, I want you to take care to pay particular attention to the language of these guys. They were asking, what kind? The KJV renders it, what manner of man is this? I'm not an expert in the Greek, and so I'm very careful to not stand on this pulpit and pontificate about things that I don't have any understanding or sufficient understanding on. But I did some research on this word, kind. Like, I wanted to understand what that was about. What exactly the question they were asking one another was. And it's this little Greek word called potapos. Potapos. And it was usually used to inquire of something that was uncommon, something that was not ubiquitous, something that was strange, that had never been seen before. You know, if they wanted to ask, what country is this from? What this is different, this person is acting different. What country or tribe are they from? They would use that word potapos. And really, the essence of the question was to vet what quality is this. This is not like anything that we've seen. It looks like us, but we have discernment enough to know that this is not like anything we know. I sometimes find these videos on TikTok where two people will be dressed in the exact same thing from head to toe, and they would have passers-by judge which one is more expensive. How many of you know videos like that? Yeah. They would have passers-by, try to just look at the two. From a distance, they look exactly the same. I always find it intriguing to watch how the passers-by would carefully vet each outfit, and you see them looking, trying to see how it sits on the body, feel the softness, just examine it, investigate it very closely, trying to determine what quality about one outfit makes it stand out or separate from the other one that can inform us that this is not like this one, or this is the one that is more expensive. And you hear, someone from the audience say something like, oh, I think that this is cashmere. I think that this is more expensive because it's cashmere and this is polyester. After vetting it and examining, they see the quality and see, oh, this is how it's sitting on the body. Polyester will not sit like this. They look at the luminance of the fabric, vet all the many things, and decide this quality is different from this other one, and it feels more luxurious. It feels like na person wey get money go buy am. Abi, these men were asking one another the same question. What kind of man is this? We know that this Jesus looks like us. He speaks our language. He dresses in a way that is typical for a Jewish man in our time to dress. On the outside, he looks the same. He has our skin color and everything, but we have enough sense to know that there's something, he's of a different sort. Right? Just like how plantain and banana can look the same, but they are really not. This man is a different kind. What manner, what quality of man is this? Jesus really was a different sort from anything and anyone that had ever existed before him. There's no one that did it like Jesus. There's no one that showed it like Jesus. There's no one that demonstrated it like him. No one before him. And after him, if we're being honest, because it's very easy now for us to say, oh, by the righteousness of God, we are Christ. By the way, you are not. Oh. So if you're saying that, it's heresy. That's just besides the point. But he was and is in such a class of his own. And while his primary purpose on earth was to die for mankind and for mankind's sins, he also came to show mankind how to live. He was the ideal man. He was God incarnate. And his life was supposed to demonstrate what it means for a man to walk in the will of God and live in the favor of God. He came to exemplify and demonstrate what it means to be a blessed man. And just as an aside, I find it interesting that we look at scripture and all of us will concede and agree and say, oh wow, Jesus was truly blessed. The Bible tells us that he grew in favor, increased in favor with both men and God. And that favor that he had with God put him on a cross. We say that Jesus was a blessed man, but the way that blessing looked like for Jesus was that he landed on a cross. You don't look at a man going through suffering today and say God blessed him or God has blessed him. He could be the godliest man in the world. He could be the most peaceable man. He could be the closest thing you know to the character of Christ-likeness. Except God has really helped your mind. You are not ordinarily going to look at him and say, wow, what a blessed man. No. What you say is perhaps there's something that, and this man he's righteous, so it could be a curse that is following him from his father's house. I have an uncle like that. He loves the Lord. He and his family are perhaps the godliest people I know. One of the godliest people I know. Some of the godliest people I know. And he, for a while, used to be a bus driver in Lagos here. That's, I think, Yanopaja area. And you would see how we would have family meetings. And his head would be like this. Because when they ask for contributions and things that should be done at home, he does not carry weights. He's the one that the world would tell to hide his face. If you don't get money, hide your face, right? And I would watch how these people are fervently serving the Lord. Me, I'm not God though, but if I was, I've given them a pass mark, right? The script is not in my hands, and I would just watch how sometimes even the people that he's older than would shut him up and inform him, in case he did not already know, that he does not have the right to say anything in this meeting. It's how we are. We pass adjudications based on physical appraisals of things. We're not very wise people. We're not very wise people. Jesus' life came to exemplify to us what it means to be a truly blessed man. And you know, humans want to be led. Men have desired examples and role models since the very beginning of time, and we still are looking for people who will teach us how to be humans. It's one of the fascinating things about just observing humanity and just watching humans human. It's why influencer culture and celebrity culture and superhero movies are very big in our time. We are people that are looking for examples. The problem with this venture is that for a long time we have been looking at, we broken people have been looking at other broken people like us to be worthy examples of how we should pattern our lives. And whilst one or two aspects of a man's life might be worthy of emulation, the problem with copying everything and saying this is the person whose life I'm fashioning my own life after, the problem with that is you will just end up being a copy of something that is already a broken version. No one is 100% role model because no one is 100% perfect. So if you pattern your life and do everything, copy everything that a man is, everything a man, the way that a man acts, the way he conducts himself, the things that he gives his thoughts to and all of that. The problem with that is, at the end of the day, you will end up being a copy of something that was broken from the beginning. the only ideal example we have, worthy of emulation from beginning to the end, is Jesus the Christ. He's the one that you would copy, so like follow him back to back, bumper to bumper. And as you are following him, you are not picking up any vestiges of flesh. You are not picking up, you know how you can know some godly men, but there's just that small thing in them. He loves the Lord though, or she loves the Lord though. Very, God is really with them. They are truly blessed. And yet they are people that are striving for holiness, but there's just that, you just see that one thing. And you can forgive that one thing because all of the other parts are great. They are worthy of emulation. Jesus Christ possesses no such nuances or crookedness. He's the only one that we will follow, and we will be purged of every vestige of flesh and self and be brought closer to perfection in the image of God's holiness. Only Jesus. That's why even Paul in 1 Corinthians 11 had enough sense to say, follow my example as I follow Christ's example. Because at best, church, I am still a man. Because Christ is the only perfect and absolutely worthy example. He's the one that we can safely emulate in entirety and not be afraid of what we will become. Not be afraid of what we will look like. Not be afraid of what the product of that followership will be. Jesus exemplified many things to us. He showed us how to be, firm but compassionate when communicating truth. He showed us how to persevere when doing the will of God means that you will turn away from comfort and the pleasures of this world. Jesus showed us how to be straight. I don't know how else to say it. How to be pure and uncompromising in the face of the pressure of hypocrisy. He exemplified such a perfect man. He was a perfect man. He showed us many things and taught us many things. And one of the things that Jesus exemplified to us with his life, or taught us, was how to pray.